Okay, evening everybody. Hello everybody on Zoom and everybody on Facebook. It's how to paint a lion. I've got to really remind myself what animal it is each time. It's not a cockerel, it's not a sheep, it's not a bunny rabbit, it's not a cow, it's not a dog, it's not a giraffe, it's a lion. Tonight's brought to you by the Roses Theatre in Tewkesbury. They got in touch quite a few weeks ago, mid-lockdown, and were putting together some ideas and some plans about bringing creatives together to sort of share their skills, their inspiration with like a wider audience, and they came up with the Feel Good Festival. So if you've been following it, you might have learned how to do some creative writing, you might have been doodling, you might have been learning how to play the ukulele. Well, tonight you're going to learn how to paint a lion. So there's all sorts of things going on. And you might hear Claire in the background, and Claire is the coordinator of this festival. Claire, do you want to say a quick hi? Oh, maybe.
I'm here. Yay! I'm going around trying to get paints.
It's like a satellite delay. So Claire, tell us about the Feel Good Festival.
Well, we're sort of over halfway through, so we started in July, and we've been having online workshops throughout the summer. We're continuing to have a few workshops until the 24th of October. On the 24th of October, we will have a grand finale, and we're going to have an online sing-along. So do look onto the website for that. And also, if you like short films, I'm going to have a short film festival just towards the last 2 weeks. So from the 14th to the 24th of October. Again, that will be on the website. So yeah, I'm having lots of fun. I'm getting to learn a lot of new things myself.
And tonight, Claire, are you going to be painting along with us?
I'm going to attempt to. I do have to say that the acrylic paint I have probably is about 10 years old, so I'll be interested to see whether it still works.
It's like a huge experiment, isn't it?
Yes. Thank you. Nice to see everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Claire. So this festival is supported by the Arts Council England, BFI and Western Power Distribution, and they've been active in helping find creatives to get digital, to spread word, to inspire hundreds of thousands of people during this crazy time. And when Claire got in touch and she said, what do you fancy doing? And we were trying to think of something other than the cockerel and the bunny rabbit and the cows. And we were thinking about what represents bravery and being courageous in these uncertain times, and we came up with doing the lockdown lion, which is kind of what you guys are going to be painting tonight. So I've got a very simple design which will take us about an hour-ish. I hope you've all got a cup of tea at hand or a glass of gin. Excellent. Cheers, everybody. And what I usually like to do is, at the end of class, is get everybody to turn their canvases, pieces of paper around, so I take a class photo on Zoom. Obviously, everybody on Facebook, I can't do that because I can't see what you guys are up to, but I've got some extra hands, some extra helping hands over here. I'm just going to whiz you around, and here we have Emma and Sophia, and they're in charge of the extra lions in the studio, but they're also looking out on Facebook for comments just to help me spot those different questions that are coming in, because it all gets a bit hectic. Anyway, if you feel that I'm going too fast, don't worry, because this is being recorded and you can watch on the playback and you can take your time, but also stop and ask me questions. And what I'll tend to do is demonstrate a stage.
Done this tomorrow afternoon or something.
And if I can ask everybody to mute their Zoom, that would be super handy. So what I do is demonstrate a stage. I then check in and make sure that you guys are more or less keeping up with me. And I ask you to sort of give me a thumbs up on that. And over on Facebook, I'll ask you to hit the like or hit the heart button. It was really funny, actually. I was doing I think it was the bunny rabbit at Easter. And my friend's little boy, Joseph, was painting along. And I kept saying to people, when you're ready for the next stage, press the heart button. But Joseph, he just kept pressing it all the way through. So I kept thinking everybody was keeping up really, really well. And in fact, I was going a little bit too fast for them. And I spoke to Mike, and he said, I'm really sorry about Joseph, but he really likes you. So he kept pressing the heart button. Oh.
Seen everyone.
Yeah, so on Facebook, just to let you know, you're a couple of seconds delay behind me. So that's not a problem, because you catch up eventually. And also sometimes I forget to spotlight myself on the video. If I do that, Zoomers, can you let me know? And then I'll remember to do that. And sometimes I'll take the canvas and I'll bring it up close so you can get a close-up of what I'm doing. So I'm just going to spin around to everybody, and I'm going to ask you all, are you all ready to paint? Excellent, excellent. Okay, so the first colour you want on your palette is a sky blue. So if you've got a blue in any of your tubes, you might want to mix some white in there to make a beautiful sky blue. I'm just going to spotlight me again. See, I forget quite easily. You've got to remind me. I've got that type of blue. Okay. And I'm going to cover the whole canvas with that. So I'm using a medium flathead brush. I'm dipping into the pot of water, I'm scraping off the excess water, and going into my big splodge of blue. And I want this blue over the whole of the canvas, so you can go in every direction. Now a little bit of water will help that paint spread across the canvas. Too much water will make it dribble down the canvas. So be careful how you manage that water on your brush. This is usually where I splatter everything behind the easel. Emma and Sophia are just ducking for cover at the moment. Oh, we've got somebody here from France. Who's that? Who's that? Debbie from France. Hello. In fact, it'd be good to know where everybody's dialing in from. So if you can let us know.
Also, that people are going to do this at the weekend.
Oh. Also, there's a few people on Facebook saying that they're going to do it at the weekend on catch up, and that's a really good idea, actually, to watch me go through it first of all, and sit down in your own time, and you can press pause and take your time. But it's also quite exciting to do it with me as well, because we paint quite fast, and it's quite satisfying when you get a finished painting done in that time.
Ooh la la.
We've got an ooh la la from France, have we? So there we have a really nice flat blue canvas. Lovely sky blue. And you guys might be mixing a bit of white with a bit of a darker blue, but what you want is full coverage. And what I'm going to do now, see, I'm covered already. I am going to blast that with the hairdryer to speed up that drying process. So cover your ears just a second. So acrylic paint doesn't take long to dry, and you can tell it's dry because it loses that glossy sheen. It starts to go quite matte. Now, I know a few of you have asked, can I actually do this with other materials, other different types of paint like watercolour? Can I do it with gouache? Can I do it with colour pencils? Can I do it with felt tips? And of course you can. It's just that you'll end up with a slightly different result to me. It's a bit like if we're playing the same song, yet we're using different instruments. It sounds slightly different, but we've both got the same goal in mind. So along the way, I'll describe the colours that I'm using, but you, of course, can use any colours you want to. You don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing. Make this painting your own and make your decisions creatively as you go through it. And also feel that you can do it in the next hour with me, but then maybe leave it for a day or two to then go back and add finishing touches and take your time over that. What we'll get done in this hour is probably a good 90% of the painting. So it's a bit like a HIIT class, but for art, where we go really fast, we get most of the job done, and then you can take your time in your own space to add flowers, add sparkles, add little wee beasties, anything you want to do. So I've got this nice and dry now. Facebook, how are you doing? Send me some hearts, some thumbs up. Let me know you're keeping up. And I'm just going to have a whiz over onto Zoom and see how everybody's doing there. Zoom, are you all up to speed? Thumbs up, brilliant, excellent, thank you. Okay, so we've got a dry blue background. Now sometimes I let people chalk in the shapes, and then other times I go straight for the shapes and draw the character, and that's what we're going to do tonight.
Spotlight.
So I need to, oh, I'm spotlighted. So can everybody see me okay? I think you can. What I'm going to do now is leave the big paintbrush behind and drop down to the medium flat head brush. And if you've painted with me before, you'll know this is one of my favourite brushes. It's really versatile. You can do so much with this brush. And I probably spend 80% of the time of my painting on this brush. So dropping down to this one, and I'm squeezing out some brown. Now some of you might have burnt umber, raw umber, some of you might have a sienna. Look for a brown and squidge out quite a bit of that. I would say a good blob that size. Okay, what we're going to do is sketch the different shapes that I can see within the lion, and then those shapes all joined together make the whole character. And then we block it in so it becomes like a shadow, and then we build the highlights on top of there. Okay, I'm going to start with the nose first of all, and the nose is almost like a squished heart shape, and I want you to come to more of one side of the canvas. So if you think of your canvas in 3 parts, go to, if you're looking at your canvas, go to the right hand side of your canvas, and we want to land somewhere within that third, because we want the head and the mane and the body into this painting. I'm popping my paintbrush into the water. I'm picking up some brown, and I'm gonna go a big heart type shape like that. Can you all see that? Now that's the nose. I don't know if school on your textbooks you were always drawing hearts. I was, in fact I still doodle them now. So I tend to find that a lot of my cartoon characters have little hearts in everywhere. And in fact, if ever I'm painting a black and white cow, the very first cow I painted was Vanessa. She is a real cow, and she had a real heart shape on the side of her tummy. So every time I paint a black and white cow now, I always paint a little heart. So it's like a little nod to Vanessa, the first cow I ever painted. So with that heart, what I want you to do is start from the side of the heart, come up and hook round like that. And the same the other side. And what you're actually doing is creating the eye shape there. Everybody on Zoom, if anybody's ever got a question, just chip in and let me know. Same as Facebook, and Emma will give me a heads up if there's a question on Facebook. So remember to recharge your brush with a bit more brown. And I'm going to come across the eyelid and make an eyelash. A real sweeping, glamorous eyelash. I'm going to kick out a few more eyelashes.
What's Zoom?
Somebody's asking what Zoom is on Facebook. So Zoom is where you can see each other. So on Facebook, I can see your comments, but I can't see you. On Zoom, it's a platform where we can all see one another. So if I turn off my spotlight, everybody on Zoom can give you a little wave just now. If we all wave to Facebook, look at that. So I can see everybody working away at their home, in their studio, in their shed. And the people who've just got names there have decided no videos, but they're listening in as well. Okay, spotlight me back. There I am. So we've got some eyelashes in. I'm just going to hook those eyes around like that. Then I'm going to get the crown in, and I want the crown like slightly off center at an angle, a bit like the crown has slipped. So I'm going to come up from the middle of the nose and just get in a very simple shape that is maybe bigger in the middle than it is at the side. And you can have some big spots on the end of it like that. Now, don't be too worried about being tidy at this stage, because we'll tidy up as we get closer to the end. Right at this stage, it's about just blocking in simple shapes.
Sam, where's the link for Zoom?
Okay, you've missed the Zoom link, unfortunately. We took registration earlier on in the week. In fact, it was running for a few weeks, so it's just available to those who registered already this evening. But you're seeing it live on Facebook now, and you'll get to see the recording as well.
Where's this video going to be saved to, Sam?
Good question. Where's the video going to be saved to? So it's going to be on the Roses YouTube channel, and it's also going to be on my YouTube channel, and it'll be on my Facebook page as well. So if you click on videos, you'll be able to see it in there, and I'll be sure tomorrow to do a link to everything as well, so it's easy to find too. And if you've missed any of the other free paint alongs, I'll give links to those as well. Right, on with the hair. So the hair, you kind of need like a flicky brush. And if you think of your wrist having a rotation, think of the letter C, forwards and backwards. And that gives you the right wrist rotation. So you can actually get some swizzes in, some curls in. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that just now. So swooping around, just pretend it's got hair like me, like curls popping out everywhere. And you can be quite messy with this, quite wild with this.
Thank you.
Okay, so you guys can still see me there, can't you? So I'm getting a few swirls in and maybe bringing a few round here, a few around the eyes here. Now I'm getting an idea of a few there just as a bit of a placement. I want to add a little bit of mouth. So if you go to the bottom of the heart, take it down and then hook it up. And that's its mouth, or the top part of its mouth. And then you can put in a little chin, a little smiley chin.
Sam, you're being asked if you've got a G&T on the go.
Oh, I'm being asked if I've got a G&T on the go. We've slipped up there, Emma.
Tea.
I've only got tea. There's something wrong here. Something's going wrong. We should put a call out for a G&T, please. We're here in Tewkesbury. No, we'll have one a bit later. Otherwise, my lion will look a bit. Oosh. So best keep it sober.
Wonderful you're doing this, Sam. Love doing your paintings during lockdown. We'll paint with my 8-year-old daughter at the weekend.
Oh, somebody's painting with their daughter at the weekend. Who was that?
That's from Gina Tunstall.
Ah, Gina Tunstall. She's going to paint with her little one at the weekend. That's good to hear. I'm still getting lots of lovely photos of sheep, of cockerels, of bunny rabbits coming through. So it's really, really nice to see. And in fact, one of the girls who painted a sheep, which was the very first free paint along, she sent her painting into This Morning ITV, and they then sent it along to be part of a massive mural for the Nightingale Hospital in London. So the sheep is cheering an awful lot of people up, so that's really good. So we've got this big hair, this big face in, and what I'm going to do is get in a little bit of an elbow and a paw. And I want a really big round paw. So to get a paw in, it's like a dome. Just like that. It would be brilliant actually to paint this absolutely huge. And then I want a bit of a body, and the body goes like this. It dips down the lower back, it comes up around the bum and curls around. And then we want a few more paws here. And again, these are really simple shapes to begin with. I want to take the tail up and then add a little bit of hair at the end of that tail. And I think Emma said earlier that this shape looks like a tulip. I'm going to block that in while I'm here. So I've kind of got my character plotted out on my canvas there. What I'm going to do now is block the majority of it in. Now, some of you might want to take a photograph of what you've painted so far, because we're going to block this whole character in, and you won't see these details anymore, but we'll call them back in a second. So some of you will be cross at me for suggesting this because you spent ages painting this in, but we need to paint it in, so we need to know that we've got the right proportions, the right shape for it all. So a bit of more water into my brown paint, and I'm going over. I can hear the gasps across the land now that I'm painting over this. Very often in the cow or the dog workshop, when we do this, people literally stand there really shocked that I'm asking them to paint over what they've planned already. But what this does is create a framework in which you can put all of your detail. Acrylic is brilliant for just letting you layer up and layer up. And you can work super fast with it, like we are tonight. And I don't know if you can hear my paintbrush, but I'm literally scrubbing the paint on. And when I think that the brush is getting a bit dry and it's starting to drag, I add a little bit more water.
Smiley faces.
Excellent. I like the smiley faces. Thank you. Don't forget your crown as well. And then, if you want, you can go to town on a few more curls. And this is usually where my characters get bigger and bigger. Just allows you to be so much more expressive with the paint, much looser. We're not staying into these really tight shapes anymore. Then, you've probably guessed, but I'm going to ask you to give that a blow dry, get that really nice and dry. So close your ears a second.
Acrylic neat, or is it watered down?
So somebody's just asking, do you use the acrylic neat or watered down? I water it down so it travels further across the canvas. And if you use it neat, it gets really sticky, and because it's quite warm at the moment anyway, it becomes harder to push around the canvas. So adding a little bit of water gives it more flexibility, and it's quicker for you to paint as well. Again, it's really fast for it to dry. So a few blasts, you'll see that it's gone from shiny to matte, although I've got a few bits of shiny bits here, so I'm just going to go again. Okay, so Zoom, how are you all doing? Have you got a character down? Let's, if you can turn your canvases to me, let's have a quick look. I can see Jen's there. I can see Susie's brilliant. I can, now, yeah, oh, look at that one with a huge big heart nose. I love it. I love it. Is that Meredith? Excellent. I see yours, Rosemary. Brilliant. Excellent. Some of you haven't got a name on the screen, so it's tricky to see, but I can see some good characters. Good crown there. Brilliant. Okay, excellent. Let's crack on then. So make sure I just spotlight me, come back to you. So we've got this shadow shaping, which is the entirety of our character and the crown that it's wearing. What I want to do now is recall that very, very first shape we put on there, which was the squished heart. But I want it a bit lighter than the brown this time. So I'm still on my medium flat head brush, and I'm squeezing out a bit of yellow ochre. So yellow ochre is like a mustard yellow. If you haven't got yellow ochre, maybe mix the yellow that you have with some white and some brown, and that will get you near to it, okay? And we're gonna go with that squished heart. Now, I was somewhere about here. So I'm gonna pop that in. Like that. Looks really strange at this stage. And I'm going to block in using the flat of the brush. So I'm using the brush like that rather than on the side. and I'm blocking in the crown.
Sam, you're fabulous.
Oh,
That's from Janice.
thanks, Janice.
Can you just recapture where people will find the link?
Yes,
We've got a few late starters this evening.
Okay, so I will post the recording of this tomorrow, so you can watch either the replay on Facebook or you can watch it on the YouTube channel, either on my channel or the Roses Theatre YouTube channel. So you've got 3 different places you can definitely find it, but you're welcome to stay and just watch this evening if you've missed the beginning.
And Helen's making me very jealous. She's got a cheeky vodka and she's having a fab time.
Helen, who got you that vodka? We've done this wrong. We've done this wrong, I'm sure.
No.
Well done, Helen. In fact, the Morleys, are you there, the Morleys? I know you two usually have a glass of wine while you're painting. So I've blocked in the crown like that. Do you remember how we did the eyes? So from the side of the heart, we came up and around. Side of the heart, up and around. Don't worry if they're not quite symmetrical or not quite the same, because that adds to the sort of quirkiness of your character. And then we had some flicky out eyebrows, not eyebrows, what are they? Eyelashes. And I just hooked the eyes around at the bottom there. Now at this stage, I'm going to go down to the bottom of the heart, take it down and hook it up for the top part of the mouth, and then pop in a little chin. And that should get you back your character. Okay. Then we added hair. So I've got yellow ochre still on my brush. I'm going to pick up a tiny bit of white on the same brush. So I've got white and yellow ochre at the same time. And this is where I start to have fun with the hair.
Sam, what happens if we make a mistake?
Okay, so say you make a mistake. If you've got a wet wipe, you can very gently tonk away that paint. And acrylic is really forgiving. It lets you do that. If you haven't got a wet wipe, a kitchen rag, a kitchen towel with a bit of water on it will help you do the same. And as long as you do that while the acrylic is wet, no problem at all. If it's dry, just get it really dry and paint over it again. Acrylic lets you make lots of mistakes, and in making lots of mistakes you learn lots of stuff as well. So I'm getting this big curly hair in, I'm swooping it around. Can you see that I've got long brush strokes and short flicky out brush strokes, and I'm going over the top of this brown, and this yellow looks beautiful on top of this brown. And then I'm picking up a little bit more white to give it like a few highlights along the way.
Can I just ask, sorry, was that just yellow ochre or did you put white in that?
I've got white in it. Who's that?
Sorry, it's me, it's Gemma.
Hiya, Gemma. Yeah, so I've got yellow ochre on my brush first of all, and then I added a bit of white as well. So as I move my brush around, I get this beautiful transition of the white and the yellow ochre mixing together to make the hair.
Thank you. Sorry, I missed that bit. I was still doing the eyes.
No worries.
What type of brushes do you use, Sam?
Okay, somebody's asking what type of brushes do I use. Typically, I use 3 brushes. A decorator's brush, usually about 2.5 inches or 2 inches. I then have a medium flat head brush, and a smaller flathead brush. I don't let myself go to the smaller brush until I'm working on the detail, so the character stays nice and loose, nice and alive. So I want to kick in a bit more of that hair over here, and I'm going to come down the nose and give the, I nearly said the cow then, give the lion a bit of a highlight on the tip, on the bridge of his nose, going down to the dip of the heart, which is the top of the nose. And I'm curling around the eyes at the moment. Wherever my brush takes me, outside of the character, I'm just letting it flick out. This is a lovely, free way of painting.
Are they sable brush, Sam?
No, not at all. They're not sable. They're the cheapest brushes you can find, so you don't get too precious about ruining them or making mistakes or taking risks with them. I find that when I spend a lot of money on expensive materials and tools, I sometimes get scared to use them. So I prefer to use a less expensive brand and just have fun trying all sorts of different things out with them. I do sometimes treat myself to the more expensive stuff, but that's when I'm really confident with the tools that I'm using, that I want to elevate my skill level, my technique level. But I practice, I put the hours in on the cheaper brushes first of all. Okay, so we've got a bit of hair on the go here. You can go to town on this hair. Now, if some of you are having a bit of trouble getting the flicks, what I tend to do is just use the corner of the brush. So I'm just using those bristles. So as I hit the canvas at an angle like that, rather than flat and using all the bristles. I just use the corner, and it gives me a nice tapered, flicked out edge. So we want this effect on the tip of the tail as well. So I'm going to go over here and get some lovely brush strokes in of the same vein over there.
We've got a lot of excited people that are going to be doing the lioness over the weekend, Sam.
So there's loads of people watching but going to do it over the weekend, which is a really good idea. I think it's quite nice to watch something first, isn't it, and think about how you might go about it. And I also know that there's a lot of people who are going to save this video because they have got time with their family and they all want to sort of do a creative project together. So I think that's a really sweet idea as well. Now, I'm just going to use the flat of the brush and sweep around that tail like that. I'm kind of leaving like a little bit, I'm going to bring it up close, like a little bit of the brown on the edge. And it kind of just gives like a subtle outline. It's not too tidy. And do you remember those paws? I'm just going to loop in a big paw at the front and a couple of paws towards the back, just to remind myself where they were. Load my brush up with the yellow ochre. I'm going to go over the back and the bum and block that in.
What brand of paint do you use, Sam?
So somebody's asking what brand of paint do I use. I tend to use Dale Rowley acrylic paint. You can get, you know how I was saying, practice on the cheap stuff first of all. That rule kind of doesn't apply for paint. And that's because the cheaper paint is usually more filler than pigment. So you're just wasting your money on paying for filler and you don't really get any colour. So the cheaper brands are probably stuff you get from the works. And you'll find that the white, especially from the paints that you get from the works, just doesn't really layer up at all. You're kind of fighting with it all the time. Look for something that has more pigment in it. Sometimes I get told off in art shops for squeezing the paint out and testing it on my fingers to see what the rheology of the paint is, how thick it is, how thin it is, how opaque or how translucent it is. Now, every brand has a different scale, and you've kind of got to get used to the brand that you like. The range have a really good range, but I know the range have a really good range, but also there's a website called artdiscount.co.uk, and they have everything from the cheap stuff to the expensive stuff, so you can buy middle of the road but then treat yourself when you fancy as well. So I'm just putting a little bit of lighter yellow on its bum, so its bum's got a highlight, and then lighter still, so it's almost like a cream colour now. I'm going to get in 1 paw, 2 paws, 3 paws. I sound like Sesame Street now, don't I? Oh, it was Count Dracula, wasn't it, Sesame Street? There we go. So we're blocking in those shapes. We're kind of bringing those paws forward. Now, I want to get this part of the face in. So I'm going to pick up a little bit more yellow ochre. I'm going to scoop around the bottom of the heart and around the muzzle and blend it around the side of the face. It's almost like a block of a teardrop shape around there. While I'm in the area, I can see that the bridge of the nose is quite see-through. So I'm just going to go in with a slightly lighter yellow ochre and give that another layer so it really stands proud. And I'm just going to add a thick swoop to the chin down there. And with that lighter yellow ochre, I'm just going to bring a bit of the arm and the edge of the shoulder, which on mine goes off canvas, just to sort of join that all together. Give your paintbrush a swill in the water, and with a tissue, just get that paint out of the nub of the brush and pick up some white. My favourite white to use is white titanium, or titanium white. It's a really opaque white, and I'm going to block in the eyeball here. So I haven't done the eyelid, just the eyeball, and it looks really ridiculous. It's like a zombie lion at this stage. Just going to let that dry. And I want to go a bit darker for the eyelids, so they kind of look like they've got a bit like dark eyeshadow on. So using some of that brown that we blocked everything in with, and some yellow ochre, I'm going to get in a darker yellow for that eyelid colour. Now, if your darker yellow is a bit see-through, add a tiny, tiny touch of white, and that will make it more opaque, and it'll make it stand out more for you. kind of want these big, heavy eyelids. I want big eyelids so I can get some glamorous eyelashes on. I'm picking up a bit of brown now, and I'm just giving one side of the crown a bit of a shadow side. It's very subtle, just a swoop and a swoop and a swoop. Just going to do the same with the root hair on the tail while I've got the brown on my brush. And then with the brown, add a bit of white. So you kind of get like a melted chocolate colour. And then go back over the nose. Now, if you've got some black, squidge a tiny touch of black out. Just so you can add a bit of a dark outline to that nose while that brown is still wet. So the paint kind of all mushes in together, but you've got a darker outline to it. Okay, Facebook, how you doing? Give me some thumbs up and some hearts if you're managing to keep up. And let's have a look over on Zoom. Zoom, how you doing? Give me a thumbs up if all is okay. Oh, Gemma, what's wrong? Tell me what's wrong.
Is that brown on the nose or is that ochre on the nose?
It's brown with some white on the nose. So mix brown and white as your first block in of the nose. Then pick up a little bit of black to give it a bit of an outline. I'm going to come in close up so you can see that nose. Can you see that? Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. Now, did I spotlight me? No, I didn't. And spotlight video, there I am. So I've now picked up some black on my medium flat head brush with a tiny bit of water so it gives me good flow.
I've lots of love off Facebook, Sam.
Oh, excellent, thanks Facebook. So I'm going to go in for black eyelashes and eyeliner now. Now I know this makes a lot of you very nervous. So if you stood up at an easel like this, you might want to get your elbow stuck into your rib cage on your non-dominant hand. Have your wrist ready and relax your dominant hand, your painting hand, on your fingertips. And this gives you a really good pivot point. And this stops you being so shaky when you get up to the canvas. And it also allows your body to kind of sort your balance out as well. So going in with some eyeliner first, swooping up and over. Recharge your brush and go in for some amazing eyelashes. There we go. Still looks strange because we haven't got the pupils in. So load your brush up with a bit more black. And decide where your line is looking. Is it looking up? Is it looking down? Is it looking to the side? I usually do mine so it's kind of cross-eyed. So I'm going to do that. It might be that if your white isn't quite dry, mine isn't, give it a quick blast with the hairdryer. Doesn't take long. So if you're going cross-eyed, you want 2 black pupils, kind of boggle-eyed towards the nose. Now try to get a curve on that pupil on the eye. You'll notice with cartoon characters, the bad guys are always skinny and angular and straight, where the good guys have a curvier shape about them or a softer shape. So if your lion looks a bit mean, it could be that your pupils don't have enough of a curve. If they do have a lovely curve, your lion should look really sort of doe-eyed and calm and friendly. So while I've got black on the brush, I'm just going to put a little centre line down the middle there. So from the bottom of the heart coming down. And I'm going to give the eyes a quick blast. Now, you can drop down to your small brush now. And what I want you to do is use the back end of the brush, not the hairy side, but the wooden side. Dip it into some white, so it's got a little point like that. And then take that up to the eyes and pop in 2 dots of catch lights. And that should give you your reflections in your eyes. Just bring that up close to you so you can see. And I want you to do the same for the whisker spots, the whisker holes, but not in white. I want you to do it in black. So, bottom end of the brush, get the black, and then dab, dab, dab. Keep loading your brush up. Not your brush, bottom end of your brush. And that gives you some whisker holes on the side of the mouth now. Now, because we've dropped down to the small brush, I want to go back in and add more hair. Now, it's up to you if you want a darker streak of hair going through or a lighter streak of hair. I'm going to pick up some yellow ochre, pick up some white, and I'm going to get in some fresh swoops of hair. Really go to town on the curls now. And you can overlap them on the layer of hair that you've done before. You can even come off character, off lion, almost so it like gives like a suggestion like it's moving. If you've got a particularly light bit, but you want to put a bit more detail in, you can go slightly darker. So it's like you're giving your lion lots of highlights or lowlights, dependent on your preference. And at this point, I tend to bring some over the eyelids as well. And a swoop over the crown. So kind of hide the crown in a mass of hair and curls. This is the bit that I really, really like doing. You can of course add a few highlights to your tail too, to make that equally as wild. Don't be worried about taking your paintbrush off canvas. Don't feel like you've got to stay within that. You can swoop it around and up. And this is where you can be really strategic about maybe bits that you don't like and add an extra curl or an extra twiddle. Mine's starting to look a bit more Kylie Minogue now. And then your final touches. Pick up a little bit of black and just pop in some little claw details, like 3 little dashes. Soft claws for this one because he's not too fierce. And there you have your basic shapes in. You've got the mass of the colour in, you've started to get your detail in, and what I would love you all to do now is to finish off in your own way. And that might be that you add wee beasties, you might add grasses, you might add quotes or words or names. It might be that there's rainbows in the background. People have done all sorts of stuff with their painting, and it's at that point that your painting will become uniquely yours, and we should end up with a whole pride of lions that all look different. And what would be really brilliant to see is those finished photos once you've stopped painting. So you might want to sort of sit with it over the next couple of days and maybe get back to it over the weekend and add your finishing touches. And do you know what? That brings us to the end of the lesson, which was like a whistle-stop tour on how to paint a lion. How have you all got on? Let's have a look.
Katie, Kelly says it's brilliant. Isabel, thank you for your time. Ruth, thanks. Kylie Minogue, lioness is stunning.
Kylie Minogue, lioness. Oh, thank you everybody on Facebook for all of those lovely messages. So we can, I'm just going to spotlight a few folk here. So Nicola Bannister, I'm spotlighting you and your lion. Nicola, are you there behind the lion? There you are. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing? How was that?
It was super fast, and I only got to do the eyes, so I've got quite a bit to finish, but absolutely brilliant. Thanks, Sam.
Brilliant. I can see some really good confident blocking in. I love the highlight on the bum as well, like it's almost got its bum in the sunshine. And you've got some really good curls on the go, so maybe with the thinner brush you could go in and add an extra layer of hair. That's hard to say, that layer of hair. A layer of hair when you've got time, and sort of think about, you know, if you're going to add any wee beasties or any detail to the crown as well.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Sam.
Welcome, thank you. Right, who else have we got here? So Gemma, let's have a look. I'm just coming over to you to spotlight you. Ah, what a cutie. What a brilliant nose as well.
I've still got quite a lot of, it's very patchy and stuff, and I
Yeah.
really fiddle with it, but it's
Yeah, don't fiddle too much, because I call that noodling, and noodling just gets you into a bit of a pickle sometimes.
I've messed up the dots here and I've covered them over and it's too dark, and
But you know, I quite like that shading that you've
Yeah.
achieved doing that. So I think some black dots on top of that dark shading will
Yeah.
actually be really nice.
His hair's a bit wild.
He's had a good night out.
Yeah, so he does look like he's been on the booze really big time. But yeah, I really do need to tidy up the edges and stuff, because you were going so fast that I was like, I've got so many brushes.
Yeah.
I've got about 8 brushes, because I was just like throwing them left, right and centre. So God knows what I've used and where, so it's everywhere. But hey, it was fun.
Oh, good job. Thank you for joining us. It's a bit like a hit session with Joe Wicks, isn't it?
It really
didn't
was.
realise it was so sweaty.
It was just like, hang on a minute, she's gone on to the eyes and I'm still like down on the mouth. But hey, it was fun.
I should get everybody doing a warm-up beforehand tonight.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Good to see the dog painting in the background.
Yeah, he sits there permanently, so
Oh, that's lovely to see again. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, who else have we got on Zoom that we can see? Rosemary, coming to you. So, Rosemary, are you there behind the painting? There you are. I can see you. So, I can see some brilliant, expressive, bold hair coming out here. And look at those eyelashes as well. And the lion's almost got a look of, it looks like it's tutting, like it's rolling its eyes going, and we've got a lovely heart-shaped nose as well. So a little bit of more detail with your finer brush should bring that extra layer hair, like I still can't say that, layer of hair forward for you. Well done there, that's great.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, you're welcome. And anybody else on Zoom? Anna, just coming over to you. Okay, spotlight video. Anna, there you are. How did you get on? Oh, can't hear you, Anna. Have you got your mute on?
Yeah.
Ah, there you are.
Hello. Yeah, no, really enjoyed it.
Good job. So you've got all the hair in. I love that you've kept a bit of a dark shadow underneath the chin as well. So what you might want to do is just sort of gently blend in maybe a glaze of brown across the beginning of the light hair that's coming out, just to knit those two parts together. And I think
and then something here as well.
Yeah, in fact, you could get away with another paw there, couldn't you? You could
add another paw in.
Yeah, that'd be a good shout. Maybe get some darker values in on your tail, because it's lost a little bit to the background, so that will pull that forward. But ace job, thank you.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Okay, Susie and Holly, coming over to you. Spotlight video. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, a bit hot and sweaty over here. That was a bit of a workout.
Quick, that was quick.
So tell me, ladies, how did you get on?
How did you find it, Holly?
Good.
It was good. It was quick. We did okay. It was difficult doing 2 at once, I think. But we've done okay. We're going to tidy them up a bit, aren't we?
Yeah.
Get your brush strokes in. But yeah, that was good. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And Holly, what are you going to add to yours?
I don't know.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Give it a bit more of a mane?
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit more hair.
A bit more hair?
I love its smile. It looks so
It looks like our dog.
It happens. It's because what we see often we can't help but replicate.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay,
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll go one more from Zoom if we've got anybody else from Zoom. Lizzie, just coming over to you. Spotlight video. Wow, I love the size of this, Lizzie. What size are you working on? Oh, we've got the... Oh, we've just lost Lizzie. In and out, I wonder. Maybe we'll come back to Lizzie. Lizzie's just having a few techie problems there. Is there one more person on Zoom that we can have a look at? Okay. Lizzie, I'll come back to you in a sec. Susie, I'm just coming over to you. Hi, Susie. So you're working on a pad there. That's good to see, because that reminds everybody that you don't have to be painting on a canvas. In fact, you could be painting on a piece of wood, a piece of metal, some paper, some cardboard, some mount board. I don't know if you all know the artist Beryl Cook, who used to paint the big fat ladies who would go out dancing and getting into all sorts of mischief. Beryl was based down in, I think, Plymouth somewhere, and she used to paint like the nightlife and the bar life and paint these characters. But very often she was skint and couldn't afford like canvases or pads of painting paper. And she used to paint on pieces of wood, very often hers and her friends' breadboards and chopping boards, and also these masterpieces would be on random bits of wood everywhere. So thank you for the reminder that it's important to paint on, you know, anything that we can get onto. And painting on paper, how did you get on? Oh, can't hear you, Susie, sorry. Press your doodah. There. Oh, no. Let's see if I can unmute you. No. So we're going to have to do like a interpretive dance, Susie. How did you get on? All right. Excellent. Let me have a look. Okay, so we've got some really good bold shapes here, and what I can see is those bold shapes have sort of anchored the character into the space that you're working on. Sometimes when we're a bit of afraid of getting a character down and drawing, we make it too small and it looks a bit wafty, but you've gone for it with confidence, and that's resulted in a really confident, really cute character. Well done. I really like that. Hope you're going to finish it and add some details and then get it nice and framed. Brilliant. Thank you. Okay, so
I'm back. Lizzie's back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Sam Colin Izzy. Sam Colin Izzy. Oh, brilliant. So how did you get on?
Well, I was okay until I missed the fact that you coloured this bit in.
Okay.
So, because I missed that when I realised you'd done it because you were doing the black bits.
Yeah.
I lost it then, and I struggled with the eyes. But other than that, I enjoyed it. But you looked a bit
really spot on.
But it was a 60 by 60 canvas. Yeah, the 60 by 50 canvas.
Oh, brilliant. That's an excellent size to be doing this type of character, because you can be really expressive. And I reckon if you go in with a smaller brush with a little bit of detail, maybe just extend a few of those curls and make them a bit frizzy or a bit curly. Don't go overboard on the detail. You don't need too much, and you don't need it everywhere. Just here and there on the things that you want to bring forward.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, so everybody, I just want to say thank you very much for sticking with me through the hour and painting a lion. Thank you very much to the Roses and to Claire for hosting. I don't know if we've still got Claire with us. I think we do.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for that. It's very fast, and I'm a bit anxious to say this, but could we have a photograph of everyone showing their lion, please?
We can, of course we can. It's the class photo that we do at the end of sessions. So if everybody can hold up their lion to the camera, and I will do a class photo. Now everybody, of course, on Facebook, we can't catch you, so you're going to have to send your photos in. Okay, so, okay, we've got Julie. Oh, Julie, I like your background. That's brilliant for a lion in the jungle. Excellent. Okay, so Get a bit ready with your best smiles. Hair and makeup coming in at you. Got you. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. I will make sure I share the link for this tomorrow. Claire will do the same from the Roses Theatre. It will be on both of our YouTube channels and my Facebook channel, so you shouldn't miss it. I just want to say thank you very much, everybody, and I can't wait to see you finished photos. Make sure you send them in so I can send a little gallery display to you all. And I'll say good night for now. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Shazam. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.